Hello, everybody. It is Lachelle, America's Supermom. I am here today with a quick sponsored segment. I have Laquita Parks here with me today. She is actually sponsoring our V Team Referral Network Book Club live session. So she is going to give us a few moments of her time to talk to us about what her business is and why she wanted to connect with us through V Team for such an event.
Hi, thank you so much, America's Supermom, for having me. I am proud to be a sponsor, and my business is pay-per-view publishing. And I know you might be saying pay-per-view, what does that mean? So pay-per-view means pain, progress, victory, because I believe that without pain, there is no progress, and without progress, there can be no victory. So with pay-per-view publishing, what we do is we help our clients take their story from a thought to a realization. Because, Lachelle, you know that we all have a story. And out of all of us that have a story, not all of us will write our story. And for those of us who take the time to write our story, not all of us will publish our story. So, what we do is we help you take that story, give you a productive platform to tell your story, and help you take that story from a thought to a realization in a productive, in a professional way where you're connected and your audience gets what you're trying to give them.
I
So
love
I am
that.
so excited to be a sponsor. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm excited to actually be a part of the book reading tonight.
Mhm. Awesome. So we are really excited for you to be there as well. And I think that's such a great mission because there's a lot of people that have a lot of pain.
Yes,
So it even sounds like it'd be great to have a workshop for people
absolutely.
to create a positive outlet. Maybe it's not a book, but they might want to do a blog or
Uh,
write a magazine article or something.
Yes,
So sounds
yes.
like a great things that we could do down the pike. So thank you so much for
You're
joining us
welcome.
today. And I want to encourage you guys to reach out to Laquita about any painful things that you feel you have a story about that you need to get out there. Just contact her and she will definitely be there to help you out. So we want to
Absolutely.
thank you again, Laquita, for joining us. And the book we're reading is Who Moved My Cheese. So you guys make sure that you sign up and register today for that live session tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you so much, Laquita.
Thank
And
you for having me.
we thank you so much for coming today.
Okay, bye bye. See you later.
Bye. All right. Okay, so I am learning this StreamYard. We have a guest today. Genna Dall is going to be joining us, and I'm really excited to have her here today. We actually are connected through V Team Referral Network, and we have been able to connect on a Zoom call. And I just think it's really important to make these connections, but talk on a deeper level, find out things that you have in common. So I'm excited to have her here today and give us some encouragement and tell us a little bit more about her. So I am going to bring her on at this time. Hey, Genna.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
I am good. I'm just kind of learning StreamYard. Okay. So I appreciate your patience and working with me through all the little snafus and time schedule
It
overlaps.
was
So
flawless tonight. You said the words, we're on the screen. It's all good.
awesome. Okay. So tell everybody a little bit about Genna, what you have going on, that type of thing.
Sure. Okay. So, firstly, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I feel very honored to be on here. And yeah, so I am all the way across the ocean in Scotland, in the UK. So, I love this ability to connect with people all over the world. And I've really, really loved that as a feature of V Team referral networking as well. I network for the purposes of business. So I have a business
Mhm.
that runs online, but my background is actually in healthcare. So I'm
Mm.
a podiatrist. So feet was my first calling in life. And I've worked in both private practice and in the National Health Service here for many years, both in the clinical aspects, but also in healthcare administration and running services. So that was my background. And I decided to make a change and go into business when I had the first of my 2 kids. I only have 2, unlike yourself. So I can tell they're trying to get off to bed, but there's a ruckus in the background. So the first of my 2 kids came along, and I remember thinking, I was putting her in the hands of a near stranger, this childminder, going off to work at my desk, which I wasn't hugely passionate about anymore. 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and then a commute and all the stuff that goes, around the normal working hours. And I just felt like I was on this hamster wheel of life. And that, was this all there was? And I got to see her for maybe an hour in the morning before I went to work, and an hour in the evening, and then, scramble down my dinner, sit very listless on the sofa, watching some TV, and then fall into bed and get up and do it all over again. And I just hit a point where I thought there has to be more to life. Like this cannot be it for the next 30 years until I retire. So I took a look around at what was available to me. Obviously, I had skills that I could do more private practice, but I also understood that trading time for money was only ever going to be that. So if I wanted to earn, I had to be in front of patients. And if I wasn't in clinic, I wasn't earning. So whilst I saw that was an opportunity, it wasn't really giving me the flexibility and the freedom that I craved to be both a career-driven mum and a mum at home. And that was when I came across network marketing. I had never really considered it as an option for myself. I kind of looked down my nose at it, if I'm being totally honest, because mainly I thought you didn't earn much with it. And, whilst you don't have to, there is scope there to create a global business and earnings that, can be, the sky's the limit, really. So when that fell in my lap through social media, through a girl that I vaguely knew, she was announcing her retirement from her corporate day job, and she was in her mid-20s at the time, so she's a bit younger than me. And I remember thinking, what? Like, how are you managing to tunnel out of a very good job and have this life by design, which was really what I was craving. So that was how I came to be in business for myself. So that was 8.5 years ago now that I heard about that opportunity with a company called Arbonne. So they're very much focused in health and well-being from the inside out, which appealed to me. And despite my very skeptical husband, I decided that I was going to build that alongside full-time job, baby, pregnancy, and so on. And my life now, 8.5 years on, looks totally different. So I very much have my life by design. That was what I wanted. And I work clinically a little bit, a day and a bit a week, because we have private clinics, and I still enjoy that kind of work. But for the most part, I get up, I take care of my kids, I go to the gym when I want, I walk the dog. I have the life that I wanted, and I still haven't sacrificed the earnings that go along with, having a career. So
I love that. That is so wonderful. So, a lot of people are familiar with network marketing. And what do you think really was the turning point to allow you to move forward with it? And even you said your husband was a little skeptical, and so a lot of people are like, well, I know I want that lifestyle, but, what was it that really, and then you have your spouse who's skeptical. So what was it that really got you moving forward in spite of that?
And he's a podiatrist as well. So he's a very kind of scientific mind. He's like, if there's not an evidence base, like he needs to know. he's
right. The numbers. Yeah. I feel what you're saying.
I just got excited about the possibilities. And what I saw too much success around me once I started to look, that actually, and success with, these were women who had come from corporate careers, sporting backgrounds, like high achievers, people who had done really well in another aspect of their life, weren't necessarily giving that up But we're choosing to build something alongside, either as a plan B or a tunneling out, or just, for the extras that they wanted. And so I saw these other women empowering one another. And I just thought, I want to be a part of that, and if there's even a slim chance that I can change the way that we live and the choices that we have with time and with money, then I'm going to take that chance and I'm going to dig in and build this. Because if there's one thing I can do, it's work hard. I don't expect anything to be handed to me on a platter. So I just really, took a leap of faith, I guess, in many ways, but it was backed by seeing the success that had already taken place in the company, with women who were just like me. So yeah, I guess that was it.
Now, so were the person that you saw on the internet, were they located where you were located, or was
Yeah.
it someone who was okay? So
She
that's
was
good.
She was a vague connection at the time, a friend of a friend. And I remember looking into the company. So a lot of people do their due diligence into this type of business once they've had a conversation with someone or been approached about it. Whereas I went digging once I saw that and I realized what she was doing, and I spoke to our sort of mutual friends about what company was she with and what was she doing. I went and did all my research before I spoke to her. And I actually invited her around because I needed products. So I wanted to see some of the products anyway. And when she came round with those, I handed her a cup of tea, very British, and told her to take a seat on the sofa and tell me what she'd done to get to this point where she had created a choice for herself. So she was at my house for 2 hours. She thought she was dropping off some products for me to try. She was stuck there for 2 hours being grilled. And my good friend had arrived on the doorstep at the same time. She was a principal teacher, and she'd had a great teaching career, and she was just fed up of the same juggle, kids, husband working away, and she'd always said to me, if you ever come up with a business that we can run from home together, let me know. And so she happened to come round at this precise moment with her career break forms. And I said, take a seat. And so the pair of us started on the same day, not that day, a couple of weeks later, once we'd, seen a bit more, tried the products, done all of our due diligence, as I say, and we got started, and we both had great success within the company because we've just stuck at it.
I love that. And, now, so what do you think kind of helped you ask the right questions, and like remove that mask? Because there's so many women who are doing that hamster wheel type of living. We're wearing masks. Oh, yeah, I'm fine. Life is good. Great career, name on the plaque on the office, but not fulfilled. So what do you think really, what prompted you to ask questions and just to be transparent?
Yeah. Of the girl, of the other person?
Yeah. So for you to just say, hey, get right to it,
Yeah. And I think that definitely started with asking myself a few questions. Am I fulfilled? I have worked at that point, I'd worked for a good 10 years in the healthcare system. And it seems like a lot to feel like you're taking a different tack with life when you've worked really hard to get to a point. I think that's why a lot of people don't make a transition midlife, because they feel like, well, I've worked so hard to get where I am. They feel like they can't give that up. And I didn't have to give that up. So for me, it was about asking myself, what did I really want? And being honest about that. Was I prepared to get over my ego at that time to do something different, where a lot of people were like, why are you doing that? You have a good job, you're well paid. Why would you bother with something like that? And then my questions to her were partly practical. So what would I be doing? How many hours? How do you make money? How does this work? What happens if I do this? Blah, blah, blah. And then the other part of it was, show me some stories of other people. So I wanted to see the success. I wanted to know what was possible. And I wanted to see that there were people out there just like me, with kids, with careers, who were making this work. And so it was that practical bit. So I could just tick those things off in my brain, right? Okay, that's possible. I can make that work. And then there was the other bit of, I need the vision, because I need to be able to get excited about this. If this is something extra in my day, and I'm tired and I'm pregnant, and I've got a 1-year-old, I need enough enthusiasm about this to take me through those days where I could just see it far enough and put Netflix on.
I love that.
So,
I
yeah.
mean, you brought up so many good things because so many people, vision, that is a great thing to be mindful of. We are a lot of times following somebody else's vision. You hear about some people when it comes to network marketing, it's like, oh, I met the person who's high up, but they don't really find a way to transfer their vision into something that's practical for them to follow. So I love how you were able to pinpoint that from the very beginning, because that's something that can really leave you going from this network marketing company to that one and not staying, for you to be there for 8 years. That's commendable, when it comes to network marketing, right?
Yeah. So yeah,
Mhm.
vision's been everything. And I think the points where I've gotten stuck is my vision had kind of tailed off or disappeared or needed to be bigger or, sort of
Mhm.
move on because life changes. And once I got the kind of initial part of that vision fulfilled, I was able to kind of resign from my day job and, make some changes, some positive changes to our life, then I needed a new vision because I kind of had gotten to where I wanted to be from the start.
Mhm.
And then it was about creating something different to work towards. So
I
vision
love it.
vision has to change and grow with you, I think.
I love that. Now, so what advice would you give people about starting their own business right now? I mean,
Yeah.
it may not be a network marketing, but it's that same mindset of leaving something that you're familiar with.
Mhm.
You've got a decent career or benefits or whatever that was kind of keeping you there, where we're ignoring that feeling that we're not fulfilled. So
Yeah.
what advice would you give them about spreading their opportunities, looking in a different direction to try something new?
Yeah. So I think the first thing is be totally open-minded. Sometimes what we want and need in life doesn't always come wrapped in the package that we expect it. So I definitely didn't expect my game changer to come along wrapped up in skincare and nutrition. Like it wasn't what I had in my head at all. So be open-minded, I think, is the first thing.
Mhm.
I think find something that you can get excited about because you're going to need that. And you're going to need, motivation comes and goes, but grit never ever leaves. And you need to have something that tugs at you enough that once that initial excitement has gone, that you
Mhm.
still have that drive to keep going with it because business success doesn't happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight with me in network marketing and doesn't happen overnight with most businesses. So
Mhm.
it's having the grit and the tenacity to stick with it, even on the days when it doesn't feel like it's moving in the right direction.
So true.
I think,
That is great
yeah,
advice.
I think the third thing is maybe find something that is slightly, risk free. So for me,
Um,
one of the things about network marketing was I didn't have to give up the day job, this sort of safety net of my salary
mm,
to build it. So sometimes, and we hear it referred to as a side hustle all the time, and I'm not sure I
mhm,
particularly love that term, but what it what it does mean is doing something alongside your bread and butter day job until that starts to gather momentum and pick up enough success, and maybe then you can, tail down your hours with your day job or another business that you're trying to transition out of. So find something less risky if that's the type of person you are. And
mhm,
let's be honest, like money makes the world go round. So we all need enough money to keep our lives going. And what you don't want is to find yourself in a very stressful position because nothing ever good comes from that feeling of lack or feeling stressed out. So I think find something that potentially you can run alongside your day job until you're in a position to make some changes on a bigger scale. And I think my last piece of advice was, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the grit, is arm yourself with good personal development. This is something I hadn't done in my
mm,
career up till being in business, and also
mhm,
mentors. So if you don't, come into a business like network marketing where there's naturally a set of mentors there and a bunch of people who are all, on the same path as you, then find yourself someone, either through networking groups or, sort of Facebook groups that you're in, who are in similar field to you, and you can maybe be accountability or mentorship, because that personal development, that mentorship is most of business success is between the ears, I found. And if you can continue to keep yourself strong in your mindset, then the other stuff just kind of bats off you like bugs on the windshield. So you manage
I
to
love
keep
that.
going forward.
I love that. And then the other thing too, which you mentioned, is you had a friend. Sometimes, you get that camaraderie, that support group. So their goals may be different than yours, but sometimes just doing it with somebody that you can talk to and relate to. I guess another question I would ask is, for somebody who has a spouse and maybe their spouse is not 100% on board with this new reinvention they want to do or whatever. So what advice would you give them to kind of navigate through that?
Well, I think in one sentence, show them the money. Make a damn success of it. If you have said you're going to do something, do not take a loan of them by playing at it. Really do what you said you were going to do. And I think, for all the hours that I was maybe, out building my business and he was putting the babies to bed or, kind of picking up the pieces at home because I was off out doing something, there came a crunch point where it was like, when do we see a bigger paycheck from this? And I was like, right. So I knew at that point, like, I needed to really, put my money where my mouth was and really, make a conscious effort, because I was sacrificing stuff and he was sacrificing stuff. So I think making a success of it is the best way to show a skeptical other half. And that can fuel people as well. Like, I found that fueled me as much as anything, was this idea that I'll show you I can make a success. I know this. So
that is awesome. Now, and so, you have to have a strong mindset, like you were saying, with the personal development. So what is it that you do within your daily routine that helps keep you in that phase? Because we've got the news talking about, what's the economy going to look like, the industries, and, everybody within their own particular industry has that fear, like, oh, what's going to happen in 2021, or how are we going to move forward from this? So what do you do to kind of keep yourself grounded with that positivity?
That's a great question. So I don't watch the news for a start.
I don't need.
So I stay abreast of enough current affairs that I don't look like a moron when I'm out and about in conversation. But generally speaking, we don't have the news on, because there's nothing positive ever in the news. So I don't watch that anymore. And I tend to have a few things that I do on a daily basis. So number one, I like to get up early, and I like to, ahead of everyone else, when the house is quiet, and I get maybe, even 20 minutes to myself, and I do some work around visualization. I do some work around gratitude. So I once heard this saying, and it's such a good one. If you woke up tomorrow with only what you were grateful for today, what would you have? And I think being grateful for what we have right now is so powerful, because you just start to attract more of that into your life. So gratitude, affirmations, they sounded completely woo-woo to me in the beginning, but focusing in on where you're going and what you want is so, so powerful. And then visualization around that. So whatever your goal in life is, like just taking a few minutes to close your eyes and visualize that. Reading has been huge for me. So personal development books. And I know obviously you started the book group in the B team in the referral networking group, which is awesome. So I'm a huge advocate for personal development books. And I try and read a little bit every day, even 10 pages. Over the course of a year, you'll probably read 12 books easily like that. And listening to podcasts, and if I can fill the dead time in my day, so whether that's time in the car or time spent cooking, or have something on in the background that can kind of light me up, then that is a good use of time.
So true. And I'm the same way. I love the podcast, the books, and just like you said, a lot of people feel like, oh, I really just don't have time to read, as if you have to complete a book every time you sit down, right? And 2 or 3 pages, really can make a difference because it really is just the time to focus on thinking and ideas begin to flow, just like you've said like 2 or 3 different things this in this little time that we've been having an interview, right, about if you woke up with only what you were grateful for the day before, what would you have today? And it's those times where you're firing off that thinking and creativity that begins to help you evolve daily. So I think those are some great things to suggest to everybody. So what is the best way for everybody to get a hold of you?
So I love to be contacted either through Facebook. So I have a Facebook business page, which is Genna Dall Life by Design. Mm-hmm. And I have an Instagram account of the same name as well. So both of those ways are great ways to get in touch with me, connect with me, follow me. And I usually concentrate on family, healthy living, and business stuff. So those are the areas of my life that I'm really passionate about and sharing on those social media platforms.
That is amazing. And then what final words would you like to share with the audience today?
Oh my goodness. That is a loaded question. I was not prepared for that.
I am sorry. Look, you have so much wisdom. It could be a quote or whatever. You know what I mean? Let's not make this hard, okay?
Okay. So I think one of my favorite speakers, he's written books, and I just love listening to him. His accent's amazing. Is a guy called Jim Rohn.
Oh, yeah.
You've probably heard of him. And he always says, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. And I love that. It's just such a great reminder when we're all looking for the easy route or the quick route or this is the fast, easy, cutting corners way. Just don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. And
that is awesome.
So much comes from the journey of progress. So.
Very good. Now that's some great wise words there because, I'm looking at a lot of areas where I need to be getting better, right?
Are we all?
So, yeah, this has just been amazing. So, thank you so much for your time, Genna. And I encourage the audience to reach out to Genna, talk to her about her business and her products, this just different things that we could use to make ourselves better. So just like you said, it is all about the work that we do for ourselves in order for us to move forward and be better versions of ourselves and help other people. So we want to thank you guys for joining us today for this brief time. And again, reach out to Genna if you have any questions over anything she mentioned. And we want to thank you guys for watching. So you guys have a wonderful afternoon and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.